We invite you to the channel Their Life Stories. Today, we want to present you the movie about the man who hid 669 children in his attic for 50 years.
London, December 1938. Imagine you're a 29-year-old stockbroker named Nicholas Winton. You have a stable job, a comfortable life, and a luxury ski trip to Switzerland booked for the holidays. But then, the phone rings. It's a friend calling from Prague with a chilling message. Don't bring your skis. Just come here. I need you to see this. Winton canceled his vacation. He didn't know it yet, but that single decision would spark one of the most daring rescue missions in human history. For the next 9 months, he would fight a secret war against time, bureaucracy, and the Gestapo to save 669 children from a certain death. But perhaps the most incredible part of the story isn't the rescue itself. It's the fact that for the next 50 years, he didn't tell a single soul what he had done, not even his own wife. To understand what Winton walked into, we have to look at the map of Europe in late 1938. After the Munich Agreement, the Nazis had annexed the Sudetenland. Prague was drowning in refugees, families who had fled with nothing but the clothes on their backs. While most people looked at the situation and saw a political tragedy, Winton saw a humanitarian emergency. He spent his vacation in a hotel room on Wenceslas Square, which he quickly transformed into a makeshift office. Rumors spread like wildfire. Hundreds of parents began lining up outside his door, desperate to get their children's names on his list. They knew the borders were closing. They knew the storm was coming. And they were willing to hand over their children to a complete stranger just for a chance at a future they knew they wouldn't share. Winton wasn't acting alone, though history often focuses on him. He was part of a small, gritty team. There was Doreen Warrener, who stayed in Prague managing the camps, and Trevor Chadwick, a teacher who literally handled the dangerous work on the train platforms under the watchful eyes of the SS. When Winton returned to London, he faced a different kind of enemy: British bureaucracy. The government agreed to take the children, but only under impossible conditions. For every child, Winton had to find a foster family and post a £50 bond, a massive sum at the time, equivalent to about $4,000 today. Working his day job at the stock exchange, Winton spent his nights and weekends running the British Committee for Refugees from Czechoslovakia out of his mother's dining room. When the Home Office worked too slowly to issue visas, Winton didn't wait. He started forging them. He later said, "If it's not inherently impossible, there must be a way to do it." Between March and August 1939, 8 trains managed to leave Prague. These were the Czech Kindertransports. Each departure was a scene of heartbreak and hope. Parents stood on the platforms waving goodbye to children who were too young to understand they might never see their mothers and fathers again. The trains traveled through the heart of Nazi Germany. At the borders, Gestapo officers would board the cars, taunting the children and searching their tiny suitcases. But 669 made it to London, where they were met by Winton and their new foster families. But then we come to the tragedy of the 9th train. It was scheduled for September 1st, 1939. It was the largest group yet, 250 children. They were already in their seats when the news broke. Hitler had invaded Poland. The Second World War had begun. The borders were slammed shut. The 9th train never left the station. Of those 250 children, nearly all of them perished in the Holocaust. For the rest of his life, Winton carried the weight of those 250 souls, rarely speaking of the 669 he had actually saved. After the war, Nicholas Winton lived a remarkably ordinary life. He married, raised a family, and worked for charitable organizations. He tucked his scrapbook, full of lists, photos, and letters from parents, into a box in the attic. It stayed there for 50 years. In 1988, his wife Gret found it while cleaning. Shocked by the scale of what she saw, she took the scrapbook to a Holocaust historian, which eventually led to the BBC program That's Life. In one of the most moving moments in television history, Winton sat in the audience, unaware that the people sitting around him were the very children he had saved. When the host asked, "Is there anyone in our audience tonight who owes their life to Nicholas Winton?" the entire room stood up. Winton, a man of quiet dignity, was moved to tears. He was no longer looking at names on a list, he was looking at living, breathing legacies. The world was finally awake to what Winton had done. Honors began to pour in from every corner of the globe. In 2003, he was summoned to Buckingham Palace. There, Queen Elizabeth II knelt him down and touched his shoulders with a sword, officially dubbing him Sir Nicholas Winton. The man who had once forged visas and broken the law to save lives was now a knight of the realm. The press began calling him the British Schindler, a title he characteristically downplayed, insisting that he was simply in the right place at the right time. In 2023, this incredible story was brought to the big screen in the film One Life. Sir Anthony Hopkins delivers a powerhouse performance as the elderly Winton, capturing the haunting mix of humility and the lingering survivor's guilt over that final 9th train. Interestingly, in the iconic BBC recreation scene in the movie, many of the extras in the audience are the actual descendants of the children Winton saved. It serves as a bridge between the past and the present, showing that one man's refusal to look away created a ripple effect that spans generations. Nicholas Winton's story leaves us with a quiet but piercing question. He wasn't a politician with power or a millionaire with resources. He was a man who saw a tragedy and simply asked, "What can I do?" We often wait for someone else to fix the world. Winton reminds us that someone else is usually us. He didn't just feel pity, he took action, and that action saved thousands of lives. Sir Nicholas Winton didn't just save lives, he lived his own to the absolute fullest. He passed away peacefully on July 1st, 2015, fittingly exactly 76 years to the day after one of his largest rescue trains departed from Prague. He was 106 years old. He had outlived the century of darkness he helped fight, leaving behind a world that was significantly brighter because of him. Today, Nicky's children and their descendants number over 6,000. So, the next time you see someone in need, remember the man who canceled his ski trip and changed the world. Because, as Winton proved, if it isn't impossible, there is always a way.
Thank you for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. We wish you a wonderful day.